Like a bullet train. Moving like the speed of sound.
Hey guys, alright, well, I usually start with the motherboard, and usually everybody else does. Now, there's a few things you need to do to this first. First, you need to install your CPU. Is usually where everybody else starts. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. So I'm gonna unscrew it just to show you, but like what you usually would do is oh, and here's another thing you would need. You would need thermal paste, and thermal paste looks like it's in a small tube and it's gray. And you put it on the CPU itself, and I'll show you what the CPU looks like. And it also depends on which CPU you get. There's two main makers of CPUs, and that is Intel and AMD, sorry. Let's just do this here. And make sure everything unscrewed. I don't want to be not unscrewing it well, because then that'll be bad. There you go. And yeah, this is where you connect your fan right here. I'm just here to show you. So this is how an Intel board looks like, and Intel CPU looks like. So usually you would remove like a plastic cover that's in here, but because I am reusing this motherboard, it's not. But usually you pull this to the side, and then you pull this up, and that's it. And you pull that up, so. And like I said, wear gloves or just ground yourself by touching your case. And here's the CPU itself. This is what it looks like underneath. And yeah, it will get on you, but that's okay, you know, it's not gonna kill you. And there's different methods to. Okay, well let me show you how to first place this. Now you can actually apply the thermal paste before or after you put it in here, and also sometimes not sometimes, usually when you buy a CPU, the thermal paste is already be on here, but because I'm reusing, like I said. And yeah, so you would apply the paste. There's many different methods. The one I agree with the most is the one where you put a dot on here and you let the CPU, the CPU fan itself, spread it out. That's the easiest method because you just place it and just plop it on. Now the other method is like a X method, you know, where you do lines like an X and then do that. It covers a lot, but not that much. So the method I like the most, and I didn't do it here on this particular one, is you put a dot and then you spread it out with like a little piece of cardboard or credit card or maybe even your fingers, but usually you don't get such a smooth. You want a very, very thin layer or else it'll slip off, and you know, you don't want that. And okay, so this is foolproof. The way you put this on is there's arrows here. I don't know if you can see that here. And then there's a dot right there. And also there's two little notches here and here. And if you look at the CPU socket itself, this is the LGA 775. There's a notch there and then there's a notch there. So you just place it down like that, really. So it's really that simple. You can't mess it up, and it is true what everybody says, even though it's been said a million times already. there is no messing this up because it's so simple to place. And there we go. Wipe your hand off if you got any on there. And then you plop it down like that. Now you will feel some pressure and you will be thinking, oh my god, am I breaking it? No, you're not breaking it. Okay, so you just place it down like that. You gotta press down really hard with this one. And then it just slips on it. Bam. There we go. And then depending on if you're installing the aftermarket, the third party CPU fan, or the fan that you get it, the one you get with it, it's easy. It's just you plug it down and you screw it in. But other ones are a bit more complicated and you have to turn the board over in order to screw it down. And make sure all the screws are seated, because that's another thing. And also, okay, you're gonna start in a cross pattern in tightening it, right? Like this. Okay, the reason why is because you don't want to tighten on one side and then you realize the other side is off. And then you just tighten out like that. And you know, for cable management purposes, put your fan in a way that you could wrap this cord around. So yeah, all of them are in the holes. And that's another thing, you do not want the screws too tight. You want them just right, is the way I see it. You don't, when you feel what's the word, like you can't turn it like that much, you can't turn it, like you'll feel it, like once it gives you force, I guess you could say. When you start turning it and you're feeling that it can't turn anymore, you don't want to tighten this down, or else that's just bad news for your motherboard, because it'll be too tight and it could crack it and a whole bunch of bad things happen. Okay, there we go, nice and secure. You can pick up your motherboard to place it in the into the case itself. And then, okay, with the RAM, which is right here, I already have mine installed, but this is how you would do it, right? It's very simple again. Usually this will be open. Actually, sometimes it will be closed, but sometimes it will be open too. And so, okay, there's a notch right there. Okay, there's a notch right there. Pretty much that notch needs to go here. You can see a notch there. Bam. Shazam. Thank you, man. Like that right in there, and then you press down until you hear a little click. But mine is like different. In this particular one, you wanna put it down until the latches go in and close in into the little notches. Okay, and that's pretty much all you do for this. Now, I don't usually put the graphics card. This is the PCI Express. Now we're going to install this motherboard on TCP, but one thing before we do that, and that's what we want to do, is we want to install the 2 hard drives plus the optical drive, simply because we wouldn't exactly have room. I mean, we will have less room than we have now, so we might as well do it now. So I have 2 hard drives that I need to install. One is a Hitachi Desk Star TM version. Then the other one is a it's 250 gigabyte, by the way. And then this one is a Barracuda 7200. How many? 350 gigabytes, yeah. So let's install this one first. So pretty much with this case, it's very easy, and that's what I love about it. You know, depending on how much money you're willing to spend on a case would make it easier or harder for you to install stuff into it. But pretty much with this one, it's like it goes in like this. And pretty much that seems to be it. So yeah, okay. So it'll be screwed in like this. You want to make sure all sides are good and everything. You know, the screw and everything. This side is good. The other side is good. And pretty much that's how it's screwed in. Bam. And then you need to screw it in with, like I said, have a screwdriver nearby. A magnetic one. And you use these screws right here. Pretty much have to install these right here. Now that's one other thing. Screw management is another thing. You need to, have your screws in very nearby, first of all, and also very neatly organized, because you do not want your screws to be lost and roll all over the place. So anyway, so this is why it's easy to have a magnetic. You could just do that, and then you just screw it on like so. And like I said, do it in a cross method. But with this particular one, we wouldn't do that because we need to turn it over. I have screws for this. I know, by the way, you don't want to put them too close to each other as well, mainly because you want them space to breathe, you want to have space for them to breathe, and you don't want to crowd them up with other CPUs, not CPUs, with other hard drives, because they need space to breathe, like I said. And you want to make sure that you find a sweet spot for these screws. Like, they have to go in easy. If they are going in really, like, it's really hard to put in, then you need to stop and either check which screw you're using, or so they're both nice and secure. You need to do the other side. Be very careful with your case, because I've seen way too many videos, and I'm like looking at these videos and I'm thinking, wow, you don't care about your, you're excited and everything, but just take a little time and do it the right way, because if you don't, you'll end up regretting. And you'll either end up just screwing it up and it's not working, or end up damaging it, then having to return it, and you don't want that pain. Just be gentle, take your time. You want to, this is almost like, what can I consider this? It's almost like taking a drive in the countryside, okay, is what I compare it to. You're taking your time, you're not rushing, you're just there to see scenes and everything. You're not there to pay a bill, I don't know. You're just there to drive and look at the scene. So you want a sweet spot, like I said. Seems like I'm not finding that. There we go. Okay. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to connect up the, we're going to put the, what is it, the optical drive, you see the drive in. That's easy, especially on this case, which I'm loving, and I encourage people, if they're beginning to, making a gaming PC, you want to